Let's get real. There are people in your life right now, men who look normal, act normal, talk normal, but they are anything but normal. You feel it. You sense it. Something ain't right. They drain your energy. They manipulate your mind. They twist your reality. See, we think witches wear black hats and ride broomsticks, but let me wake you up. Witchcraft ain't just about potions and spells. A male witch is someone who works behind the scenes, controlling, manipulating, and deceiving without you even realizing it. And if you don't learn how to recognize them, you will become their victim. Some of you are losing battles you don't even know you're in. You keep wondering why you're stuck, why your dreams aren't moving, why your relationships feel toxic. It's because there's a male witch in your circle, but not today. Today, we expose him. Today, we strip him of his power. Today, we take back control. Let's break it down. The 7 marks of a male witch. Listen closely because your future depends on it. 1, that he hides in plain sight. You think the enemy always comes as an enemy? No, a male witch blends in. He's your friend, your mentor, your co-worker. He earns your trust before he betrays it. And by the time you realize what's happening, you're already caught in his web. Tools. He manipulates through words. God, man, his words aren't just words. They are spells. Spells of doubt, confusion, insecurity. He twists truth until it serves his agenda. He will tell you you're not good enough, that you need him to succeed, that without him, you are nothing. 3, that he thrives on chaos. A male witch can't survive in peace. He needs disorder. If things are going well, he will stir up drama. He will spread rumors, create division, and plant seeds of confusion. His power is strongest in toxic environments. Or he preys on the weak. He doesn't go after the strong. He seeks out the broken, the insecure, the one searching for direction. Because if he can control the weak, he can build an army of puppets who serve his every desire. Father, he fears true power. He will never support someone who is truly powerful because your strength exposes his weakness. That's why he will try to bring you down because deep inside, he knows he can't compete with real power. 6, he is addicted to control. Everything he does is about one thing, control. He wants to dictate how you think, how you feel, what you do. And the moment you break free, he will do everything in his power to pull you back in. 7, built more in the showers. A male witch doesn't work in the open. He operates behind the scenes, pulling strings where no one can see. He plays innocent while causing destruction. But today, we shine a light on him, and when the light comes, darkness has to flee. Let's say, how to break free. Now that you see the signs, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let him keep winning? Are you going to stay trapped? Or are you going to fight back? Because listen to me. The moment you recognize a male witch, you take back your power. You expose him. You remove him from your circle. You replace lies with truth. You stop being his puppet and start walking in your purpose. No more manipulation, no more control, no more fear. Today you break free. Today you rise up. Because once you see the truth, you can never be controlled again. You think the enemy always comes looking like an enemy? No, that's the problem. Too many people expect danger to be obvious, but real threats don't announce themselves. A male witch blends in. He walks like you, talks like you, smiles like you. He earns your trust before he betrays it. He doesn't come in with a sign that says, I'm here to destroy you. No, he plays the long game. He watches, he studies, he learns what makes you tick. He finds out your weaknesses, your dreams, your fears, and then he uses them against you. Some of you are surrounded by male witches and don't even know it. You call them friends, mentors, partners, but deep down, something feels off. Every time you share your vision, they downplay it. Every time you get a win, they act uninterested. Every time you start making moves, they suddenly have an issue with you. That's because they were never there to support you. They were there to keep you from growing. And here's the scary part. Because they're so close, they have access. Access to your thoughts, your emotions, your plans. And that access, that's their weapon. They don't need to attack you physically. They just need to plant doubt in your mind, whisper negativity into your spirit, make you second guess your path. That's how they work. That's how they control. But today, we strip them of their disguise. No more hiding. No more pretending. You have to start looking past the surface and seeing people for who they really are. If you keep ignoring the warning signs, you'll stay trapped. But if you open your eyes, if you start paying attention, you'll see them for what they truly are. And once you see them, words are more powerful than weapons. And a male witch knows that better than anyone. He doesn't need fists to break you. His tongue is sharp enough to cut deeper than any blade. He speaks not to uplift, but to control, to twist, to deceive. His words aren't just words, they're spells, carefully crafted to manipulate your mind and steer your actions without you even realizing it. At first, he'll sound like a friend. He'll tell you what you want to hear, feeding you just enough truth to make you trust him. But over time, he starts planting seeds of doubt. He makes you question yourself, your decisions, your abilities. Are you sure that's the right move? I don't think you're ready for that. No, not everyone makes it. You might want to play it safe. And that's how he gains control. He doesn't need to force you. He convinces you to hold yourself back. He'll make you feel like you need his approval, like you're lost without his guidance. And once he's in your head, he can make you do whatever he wants without you even realizing you've been played. But the moment you recognize the power of his words, you take that power back. The truth is, you don't need his validation. You don't need his permission. The only reason he's trying to control your mind is because he fears what will happen when you start thinking for yourself. Once you see through the manipulation, his words lose their grip. And when his words no longer control you, he loses all his power over you. A male witch cannot survive in peace. He doesn't function in stability. He needs drama, confusion, and conflict the way fire needs oxygen. When things are calm, when people are aligned, when life is moving forward, he starts to suffocate. That's why he stirs up trouble. Because disorder is his playground and chaos is his fuel. You ever notice how some people always seem to be at the center of drama? No matter where they go, conflict follows. Relationships crumble, friendships break, teams fall apart, and somehow they're always in the middle, acting like they have nothing to do with it. That's not coincidence. That's by design. A male witch thrives on division because a divided house cannot stand. He knows if he can keep you distracted with arguments, misunderstandings, and petty fights, you'll never have the energy to focus on your purpose. And here's the dangerous part. He plays both sides. He'll whisper one thing in your ear and something different in someone else's. He'll act like a peacemaker, pretending to help while secretly adding fuel to the fire. He feeds off confusion because when people don't know what's real, he can control the narrative. But the moment you stop engaging, the moment you refuse to be his pawn, his power weakens. The key to beating him is clarity. Pay attention to who always brings drama, but never solutions. Watch who keeps confusion alive, but never encourages peace. Once you recognize that pattern, you'll see him for what he really is, and when you see the source of the chaos, you can shut it down once and for all. A male witch doesn't go after the strong. He doesn't waste his time on people who are secure, confident, and fully aware of their worth. No, he hunts the weak, the ones searching for direction, the ones battling self-doubt, the ones who don't yet know the power they carry, because if he can control the weak, he can build an army of puppets who serve his every desire. He spots insecurity like a shark smells blood in the water. He watches for those who second-guess themselves, those who crave approval, those who are desperate for guidance. Then he moves in, pretending to be a mentor, a friend, or even a protector. At first, he builds you up just enough to earn your trust. He makes you feel like he believes in you, like he's the only one who understands you. But once you let your guard down, that's when the real control begins. Slowly, he makes you dependent on him. He becomes your source of confidence, your go-to for advice, your voice of reason. But here's the catch. He's never actually leading you forward. He's keeping you trapped. Every decision you make goes through him. Every dream you have is filtered through his opinion. And before you know it, you're no longer thinking for yourself. You're just another piece on his chessboard. But let me tell you something. You were never meant to be controlled. You were never meant to be anyone's pawn. And the second you wake up and recognize what's happening, you break the spell. You stop looking for validation from the wrong sources. You stop allowing weak, manipulative people to define your path. Because the truth is, you don't need them. You already have everything you need to rise on your own. A male witch will never celebrate real power, because real power exposes him. He fears the strong. He fears those who walk in truth, confidence, and purpose. He fears people who can't be controlled. That's why he does everything in his power to bring them down. Do you ever notice how some people suddenly start acting different when you step into your strength? When you begin to grow, when you start winning, when you become more disciplined, watch how they respond. A male witch won't clap for you. He won't encourage you. Instead, he'll get uncomfortable. He'll downplay your progress. He'll tell you you've changed like that's a bad thing. He'll start playing doubt, saying, "Are you sure you can handle this?" Don't get ahead of yourself. Not everyone makes it. Why? Because your strength is a threat to his control. And that's the test. When you start leveling up, when you start walking in your full power, watch who suddenly turns cold. Watch who starts throwing shade, because that's how you identify a male witch. He can't survive in the presence of true power. And once you recognize that, you'll realize you were never the problem. Your strength was just too much for his weak spirit to handle. Control. That's his addiction. That's his obsession. A male witch doesn't care about love, loyalty, or even success. What he craves is power. He needs to dictate how you think, how you feel, and what you do. And the moment you start making decisions without him, that's when he panics. See, he builds his entire world around controlling others. He surrounds himself with people who depend on him. who look to him for answers, who can't move without his approval. That's why he's always advising, always guiding, always positioning himself as the person you need. But it's not because he cares. Have you ever seen how he reacts when you stop asking for his opinion? When you start thinking for yourself, suddenly he turns cold. Suddenly he makes you feel guilty. Suddenly he acts like you're disrespecting him, when in reality, you're just growing. Because the truth is, he was never for you. He was for the version of you he could control. But here's the thing about real power. It doesn't need permission. The second you realize you don't need his approval, his control shatters. The chains break. The spell is broken. And that's when he loses. Because a male witch can only rule over people who don't know their own strength. But the moment you step into your full power, he has no choice but to fall back. He doesn't operate in the open. A male witch moves in silence, working behind the scenes, pulling strings where no one can see. He plays the background, pretending to be uninvolved while orchestrating everything from the shadows. That's how he keeps control. By making sure no one realizes he's the one causing the destruction. You ever notice how problems seem to appear out of nowhere? How relationships start crumbling for no reason? How confusion and doubt suddenly fill the room, but you can't trace where it started? That's because he's working behind the scenes. He whispers in ears. He spreads half-truths. He plays innocent while stirring up tension. He lets others do his dirty work so that when things fall apart, his hands look clean. And when you try to call him out, he plays the victim. What, me? I would never do that. He's always just far enough away to avoid direct blame, but close enough to keep influencing the outcome. That's his game. Deception through distance. But here's the truth. Shadows can only exist where there's no light. The moment you shine a light on him, his whole act crumbles. When you start connecting the dots, when you start exposing the patterns, when you start seeing who's really pulling the strings, he loses his power. Because a male witch can only thrive where people aren't paying attention. But once you see him, once you call him out, once you refuse to play his game, he has nowhere left to hide. Doubt is his weapon of choice. A male witch doesn't need to physically stop you. He just needs to make you stop yourself. He plants tiny seeds of uncertainty, carefully placing them in your mind until they take root and grow into full-blown hesitation. He doesn't tell you outright that you'll fail. He just asks, "Are you sure?" He doesn't say, "You're not good enough." He just reminds you of your past mistakes. He doesn't demand you quit. He just makes you question if it's even worth trying. And that's how he wins. Not by force, but by manipulation. Because if he can make you doubt yourself, he doesn't have to block your blessings. You'll block him yourself. You'll hesitate. You'll second guess. You'll hold yourself back. You'll stay stuck, not because you aren't capable, but because he convinced you that you aren't. This is why some of you aren't moving forward. It's not that you don't have the talent. It's not that you don't have the drive. It's that somewhere along the way, someone whispered in your ear and made you question what you already knew. And now, instead of running full speed toward your destiny, you're standing still, trapped in your own head. But hear me, the moment you recognize that voice, you take its power away. The moment you realize that doubt didn't come from you, that it was planted by someone who never wanted to see you win, you break free. Because the truth is, you were always built for this. You were always ready. You were always more than enough. And the only thing standing between you and your destiny is the decision to believe in yourself again. A male witch cannot survive in the presence of truth. Lies are his foundation, deception is his shield, and manipulation is his strategy. But the moment truth enters the room, his power begins to crumble. He thrives in environments where people accept what they're told without question, where they follow blindly, where they never challenge the narrative. Because as long as no one is thinking for themselves, he stays in control. But the second you open your eyes, The second you start asking the right questions, the second you stop taking things at face value, he panics. He scrambles. He tries to shift the blame. He calls you crazy, disloyal, rebellious. Why? Because the more truth you see, the less power he has. When you know who you are, when you know your worth, when you see through his tactics, his influence disappears. And this is why he fights so hard to keep you in the dark. He would rather keep you distracted than allow you to wake up. He would rather feed you lies than risk you discovering who you were meant to be. Because the moment you embrace the truth, you become unstoppable. So what are you going to do? Keep falling for the illusion? Keep letting someone else dictate your reality? Or are you going to wake up, step into your power, and start seeing things for what they really are? Because the truth is the one thing he cannot survive. And once you embrace it, you'll never be under his spell again.